Another Easter where it still hasn't been proven to me why I should get up before 11 to go sing songs to the sky with other people too scared to even admit the possibility that they are just singing to the sky. No thanks, I'd rather learn about the wave-particle duality of matter this morning, then go make some extra money at work on the day nobody is gonna come in. He's really like, I'm so much more intellectual than those religious people singing at the sky. It's fine if you don't believe in God, just don't be so pretentious about it. Hello Redditors of the internet, Xenon here, and welcome to r/IAmVerySmart part 29. Let's get started. So, no, you clearly don't know just how smart I am, so let me clue you in even though you didn't ask. I don't think you can measure intelligence properly. Maybe you can't, but I will anyway. I'm crazy like that. I'm on 3 research projects, have chapters in an upcoming book, know 5 languages, presented at 4 science conferences, and learn languages and math in my free time. Happy now? Not only am I happy, my minuscule brain has exploded from the sheer power of yours. And now for this next one, many of us may hate it, but some days Facebook delivers. The irony here is you attempt to now sound just as articulate as me. But the difference is 1, I don't need to try to be, I'm just naturally highly educated and erudite with an extensive lexicon, and 2, you're using words like how the sad, pathetic SJW leftist losers do. Incel has a definition, dumbass, meaning involuntarily celibate, aka get no coochie and no female attention. Oh, those females. I'm in a relationship with a beautiful feminine girl who is not only my princess but my little Asian doll that is head over heels in love with me, that likes to be dominated, spanked before I blow her mind in bed, then cuddle up with pizza. You evidently have no idea what experiences like that are like. So never mind, a thesaurus. You need to pick up a dictionary and learn the meaning of words before you attempt to try to come at someone you're not a match for intellectually, you utter clown. Ending it with a clown emoji. And did I mention this feminine girl is very feminine, believe me. And this next one's on a post about a cheat sheet of Gen Z slang. I need this cheat sheet, I never know what anybody my age is saying. Alright, that's fair enough. As you get older, you start to feel a bit out of touch with what the younger generation is saying, but of course this intellectual just had to reply. 'Tis true, suffering from the ability to speak actual words instead of made-up ones has always been a leading cause for disconnect between peer groups, but imagine being a time traveler from the Victorian era. The contemporary expression of this phenomenon could only have been predicted in hyperbolic jest, and accented by pure disgust at the moment one realizes our modern counterparts have greater access to education than any other before. We truly are vastly outnumbered. Hashtag cue the offended. Oh yes, the offended are just waiting in line after that hashtag. And how did we come up with words in the first place if they weren't made up? Dude is literally bragging about not understanding people. Ridiculous. For this next one, you won't believe it! A Redditor. Okay, just to add validity, you won't believe it anyway. I have a proven IQ of over 160. Yeah, no one's gonna believe your IQ on Reddit of all places. I've spent years reading about this as I'm fascinated by it. I honestly don't care if I'm proven wrong. I do want to learn from you all. If this can't be refuted, then I think this is the answer to the theory of everything. OP may have just solved the biggest problem in physics. Watch out! However, what this intellectual fails to realize is that we already found the answer to life, the universe, and everything. It's 42! It was right there the whole time. This next one had to code Pac-Man in an hour. Ooh, this person can code in lightning speed. Yes, but I had a huge background on engineering/technical thinking. And even with that, it took me 6 years to get it. To really understand the complexities that I have to solve. I mean, I showed several examples on this thread. For instance, the custom insertion sort I had to figure out. Until someone can solve these problems, they have no say in increasing their salaries from 50K. It's exactly like what our physics teacher told us in high school. The first part of every physics problem is deliberation. It's writing down the given. That part is worth $6 an hour. This $155,000 job that I got, I had to code a working Pac-Man in an hour. People have absolutely no idea what it takes to pull that off. They told me I was by far the brightest engineer out of 3 other experienced California engineers. They say they hire a lot of Amazon engineers, which are like at the top of their game. That is a level I'm put up against. Wait a minute, aren't insertion sorts known for being rather simple compared to other sorting algorithms? But no, you don't understand, this one is custom. And now we may have found the smartest 5-year-old of all time. Wow, you seem so tortured and interesting. I'm glad I don't have the burden of a high IQ. You know, when I was 5, I used to cry at night because people were being oppressed all around the world, and I'm aware of this. This IQ burden was becoming too much even at the age of 5. I started reading books at 2. Not Cat Sat on the Hat. Novels. Adult novels at that. Picked up a book and read. How? Past lives, I guess. No explanation. My brother is smarter than me and he is doing 30 years, so you tell me. IQ is one of the least understood metrics today. There is zero correlation between intellect and intelligence. One is a part of you and cannot be changed, and the other is what you have actually learned. I've met enough idiots with degrees to know better. Yeah, I'm sure that totally happened. Reading entire novels at 2 years old. Thinking about the state of the world at 5. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, then why not like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell? And now, IQ does not equal intelligence, but in popular culture, IQ tests are not regarded as mandatory criteria to test the intelligence of humans, and it purely depends on experience, knowledge, and skill sets that they have. I wonder what experience, knowledge, and skill sets I had in the 3rd grade, 8 to 9 years old, that afforded me an IQ score of 135. Thinking emoji. The one where you realize that IQ tests are adjusted for age. This next one is titled Physical Reality. I try to keep information in reference to physical reality around me, like memorize everything in reference to physical effect that might manifest in the world in relation to the information being memorized. So the information is linked to the physical reality with some sort of logical chain. I'm currently reading an article of dynamic vassalization processes happening around modern countries in the time range of the past 10 to 20 years. And the factual bits from this article I tie to my experience with the dynamic models of countries and just complex systems in general. And those models are tied to my experience constructing and running such simulations, seeing their dynamics and learning their dynamics. And that itself is tied to specific ways in which these models compare to data recorded/accounted by people for country-specific parallels of processes that happen in reality versus the model. So the information from the article doesn't just get memorized, no, intellectuals go further. It's memorized in reference to dynamics of these kinds of systems, which are referenced to studying these kinds of systems, which is reference to the study methods aligning with results seen in the real world, creating a logical chain from the real world to the stuff I read in the article. A chain of confidence, kinda. I can judge whether this article seems interesting to read / the information seems reasonably accurate or insightful based on this chain of confidence that starts with something external to me. The link between simulation models in the real world and then resulting understanding of complex systems dynamics that was learned from that. And Great Drams 23 says the word he's looking for is context. What he says is true but can be written into just 8 words. I memorize facts by putting them into context. No need to go in all of these simulations or what have you. Oh, another one who was able to read at a very early age. A college reading level by the 1st grade. Played games with my brothers and my parents as soon as I was 2. Mario Kart on the SNES was our favorite to play together. I could beat the highest difficulty on that and Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past by myself at 3 or 4, and also started playing piano at that age too. Between playing music, writing cursive, and playing games before I even went to school, my reading level was extremely advanced. Got to a college reading level in early 1st grade. I never really hated any genre of game, but oddly as a kid my favorite was strategy. It's the genre where I can feel the most intellectual. I learned more about history from the Civilization games than I did from school. You could always click on a technology in the game and read about it in depth in the older games. Read The Art of War at the end of 2nd grade and it became a favorite of mine. It also taught some valuable life lessons in the book. Gaming as a hobby is extremely healthy for children, of course. They can still be addicted, but without it, I don't think I would have been as intelligent as I am today. For some reason, I really doubt you did those things at that age. And now an animal lover wants cheetahs to stop hunting animals. I I know, I'm thinking ahead of our time, but I believe humans are the ones who must correct the horrendous and horrible things happening in the world of nature. We're the observers and the observed. This must be understood. The human consciousness entails an anthropomorphic responsibility that it can't escape from. Do not think there's another observer out there. There is none. Put your obsolete religiosity and tribal politics aside and step up. Take your place as the one and only observer. Observe! As the sole observers, humans are the ones who must stop suffering or suffer themselves the consequences of indecision. This unfortunate scene has been shared on the social media by thousands of individuals who are tortured by their conscience. However, don't we have the ability to change the nature of the lower animals? Why are we afraid of doing it? All the meat-eating animals must be turned into vegetarians or exterminated, in my opinion. Simple. We waste so much resources, time, and energy nursing hatred for each other and fighting tribal wars when we should be thinking and reminding ourselves of our collective anthropomorphic responsibility. What a shame! When a big fish refuses to leave a small pond, it suffocates. African proverb. This has to be some kind of troll. There is no way this person does not realize how disastrous this could be to the ecosystem. You can't just remove all the carnivores, like that's just ridiculous. And this next dude said, intellectual renaissance and reduction of intelligence. Is new rap music as inferior to 80s/90s/2000s rap musics in terms of lyrical complexity? And if so, what are certain things that can be done by the community to promote an intellectual renaissance in this field and promote labels signing more lyrically competent rappers over mumble rappers? Someone says, keep in mind that these mumble rappers are only popular because people listen to them, so a better question would be, what makes less complex lyrics or mumble rap more appealing these days? Well, the intellectual replies, I'm aware that less complex lyrics are becoming more appealing, but I'm concerned it will cause a reduction in intelligence amongst avid listeners and will stop inciting deep thought, which was originally a huge component of rap. I mean, you can choose to listen to whatever music you want, but to think it will lower the intelligence levels of the people who listen to it is a little ridiculous, isn't it? And now, I don't know why, but it being a Pinterest meme makes it even funnier. Yeah, you're cute, but do you like nature, the stars, evolution, psychology, philosophy, the universe, peace, compassion, raising consciousness? In other words, can you keep up with me and my massive brain? I'll let you know that very few people can do that, thank you very much. OP actually knows the guy that posted this. We used to be friends, but he got super toxic, and let me tell you, he has the personality of unbuttered toast and thinks watching Jurassic Park makes him a scientist. He should have spent less time thinking he could and more time thinking he should. This next individual thinks he's omnipotent. No way this is real, skull emoji. It's fake. I could read when people are lying. By the way they're talking and their movements, you could say I'm like a god or something. Huh? Please be quiet. This person probably watched a couple of body language videos and now thinks they're an expert. Anybody on the planet, I can read them like a novel now. Did I mention I've been reading novels since the age of 2? And now this man is absolutely flabbergasted by someone saying they haven't heard a certain word often. Flabbergasted, I say. It's a lot more serious than I think you're able to comprehend, but I guess I've found myself surrounded by low intelligence people trying to drag me to their level by saying it's that important. But you're right, it won't affect you. It affects how everyone perceives and acts towards you. I'm probably wasting my time here though, so have fun. By the way, why did the intellectual make such a comment? Because they replied to something saying, rigmarole is such an eloquent phrase, I'm not even gonna lie, lol. You haven't heard of the word before? Clearly not intelligent enough. This next one is so good at driving. I drove from an hour and 30 minutes once with just my legs. If you're not making any major turns, it's easy. Driving is super easy. As a hyper-alert person, it's painful dealing with people on the road that aren't, and sometimes we have to do things so we don't completely zone out. I've played a trumpet a number of times while driving. To be fair though, you can do that with one hand. Yes, there is a time and place to do things like this, and knowing the driving conditions and your skills are important when you increase towards task saturation. As I've gotten older, I recognize the brain isn't as sharp 20 years ago, so I don't need to do crazy stuff to keep my brain engaged in the simple task of driving an automatic transmission vehicle, with often on one minor level of input while watching out for people that can't manage that. Driven about 1 million miles and not a single accident. I've avoided at least 50 due to reacting in time or seeing the potential for someone to do something stupid, and none of those times it was a person playing an instrument. Winky face. Although most of the last 10 years have been phone-related, the instrument of death while driving is the phone. Now, if a person would have tried to play a bassoon while driving, then that's a situation I'd even say, what the hell are you doing? And now Perspective Active says, let me know you can drive for 2 hours on city traffic with your crank while playing an accordion. Ah, now that's true driving skill right there. For this next one, believe me, he's the funniest guy at the annual meeting of smart people. So, Mensa? People think I can't possibly be funny merely because I don't tell jokes. I don't think people think that. In reality, jokes I make would go over yours or anybody's head. I've tried, oh believe me, but when I attempt to be lighthearted/witty, it's usually banter too nuanced for the general population to appreciate. It's hard being stuck in your own brain. I mean, technically aren't we all stuck in our own brains in a way? This dude is a whoosh machine. Dude thinks it's everyone else's fault for not laughing at his jokes. And now this guy was definitely a genius. It's not funny if I have to explain the joke, but I'll try. Flaming people in an Instagram comment section is widely regarded to be stupid and childish. Twitter, like most social media platforms, restricts the advertising of its competitors. You called it stupid and childish, which in itself is stupid and childish. Textbook irony right there, like dictionary definition of irony. Thought it was funny to add to it by also being stupid and childish and flaming you for flaming him. Ironyception achieved, laughing emoji. Oh, it's irony inside of irony inside of irony. It's irony all the way down. Whoa! Let's move on before my head explodes. And now for this next one, watch out, Andrew Tate is too powerful and cannot be stopped. I can play chess in my mind for up to move 21 without losing the position. I can stop my heart for a beat at will. You've had the same 87 days without any of the limitations of being in a Romanian jail. And keeping on the topic of chess, look out Magnus Carlsen, a new Grandmaster is incoming. The lamentable mundanity that permeates the realm of so-called chess challenges continues to astound even the most intellectually superior of minds such as my own. There I was, yet again, confronted by a chess puzzle that claimed to be a veritable gauntlet for even the most seasoned practitioners of this ancient and cerebral game. Oh, how I scoffed at the sheer audacity of this claim, knowing full well that my own intellect would swiftly unravel the Gordian knot presented before me. As my eyes glided over the monochromatic battlefield, I was struck by the unmistakable stench of mediocrity that hung heavy in the air. The pieces arranged in a feeble attempt to befuddle the casual observer were nothing more than playthings to be manipulated by my nimble fingers and incisive mind. It was akin to Beethoven being asked to compose a jingle for a flea market, an utter travesty. The solution unfolded before me like a well-worn tapestry woven from the threads of strategic superiority and grandmaster intuition. I could not help but let out a chuckle so rich and mellifluous that it echoed through the chambers of my very soul. For this was not a challenge, it was a pale imitation of the intellectual depth and rigor that one should expect from the sacred game of kings. And so, with a flourish of my hand and a flicker of my wrist, I deftly maneuvered the pieces into place, executing a coup de grace that would have made even the likes of Capablanca and Fischer quake in their boots. The checkmate was as inevitable as it was swift, an irrefutable testament to my own mental acuity. Thus, I was left with naught but a heavy sigh, a sigh that spoke of the crushing disappointment that lay heavy upon my heart. For what use is there in the sublime beauty of chess if one cannot find a challenge worthy of one's prodigious intellect? I mean, let me tell you something, this was very well written. This person actually used the words correctly. I wouldn't be surprised if this person was actually pretty smart and is just pretending to be like an r/IamVerySmart kind of individual. And now with the NBA playoffs about to start, let us go into the NBA legendary debate room for this next intellectual. Debate officially over. This dude has already declared it done before even making his argument. As a sports expert with an IQ of 180, let me tell all you casuals and Jordan stans a little something about the game. I grew up on the streets of Green Bay. I would play street ball from sunrise to sunset every single day. Remember, ball is life. For you casuals that don't know, Green Bay has the best street ball scene in the country. My crew would own any court in New York, LA, or Chicago. I would have went to the NBA, but I didn't want to get CTE or bad knees. Playing as much ball as I did, you learn a lot about the game. Jordan is the most overrated player in basketball history. Okay, that sentence looks like it was designed to rile people up. This has to be a troll. He had no moves, couldn't go left, and had a skeleton frame. He wouldn't even get picked to play a pickup game on one of my games. My King LeBron, however, is the undisputed GOAT. My King would average 60 points a game in the weak 90s full of mailmen and plumbers. As a baller, I can spot greatness a mile away, and my King LeBron is the greatest ever. Also, as a baller, I can spot a fraud a mile away, and Jordan is the biggest fraud in history. 3 exclamation points. Sounds like someone took King James a little too seriously. Like, dude is about to bow down and swear fealty to LeBron. This is too much. Okay, this next one's under a video of expert testimony in a trial. Guy wants you to know that physics is more interesting. Sure wish I'd awakened on the morning of my high school graduation to declare I'd be pursuing my PhD in criminology and law enforcement. This man is so accomplished. Would love to audit some of his classes. Thank you, sir. And the intellectual replies, physics is way more interesting. Murder is a rather pedestrian matter. Truly one of the most intelligent replies of all time. Why is no one in this trial talking about quantum mechanics? And now I guess every generation just has a lower IQ than the one before it. That explains everything. They are doing a remake of Grease? The entertainment industry has lost all creativity. It's all remakes and comic books nowadays. And the intellectual replies, a general IQ level drop of I'd say about 30 percentage points in the younger generations. They lack existential profundity of the soul and mind. I've been watching 1960s to 1990s reruns to find creative intellectual company. By the mid-90s, that moral decay was already starting to show. And Heistbreaker says both are wrong. The top guy is wrong because you can find a Redditor writing stories with more creativity than anyone could have imagined. We are taking painting and other creative arts that used to be limited to 2D to 3D. And the bottom guy is wrong because he's limiting his intake of creative medium, I'll say, to 3 decades. If you want creativity at its maximum, you should explore every single example. Dedicate your entire life to examining and analyzing every single creative work ever made in human history. And remember, Redditors are at their most creative when they're trying to make up stories and pass them off as truth. Just look at r/that happened. And we'll end it with a meme, how people fix light bulbs before Isaac Newton invented gravity. And you can see in the meme, they're just floating there. But of course, the intellectual just can't get a joke. Gravity was never just randomly created by mortals. Gravity was simply more often acknowledged and tested by mortals, therefore this meme is not funny. Remember, humor is the enemy of the intellectual. So, I'd like to thank all of my patrons, especially Amethyst Phoenix, Crangus McBiscuitbull, Dark Garden, Catalan Cormendi, Nightcrawler, Stormcloud the Wolf, Vicmeister 1999, and Zoe Horsham. You can join my Patreon in the link below, and if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, and turn on the bell, and comment if you have something interesting to say.